The moment before you share is a fragile doorway. Your thumb hovers, your chest tightens. You feel the tug to be seen, to be affirmed, to let the world know that you are finally moving. It is a warm pull, almost sweet, the promise that a handful of words can make a plan more real. Yet somewhere deeper, under the ribs, another voice asks for quiet. It asks for a slower breath. It asks for the dignity of a beginning that is not exposed to the weather. Between those two voices, hurry and hush, your future waits to see whom you will obey. If you have ever announced a dream and then watched your energy fade like a tide pulling back from the shore, I see you. If you have ever felt the strange embarrassment of your own enthusiasm cooling under someone else's raised eyebrow, I understand. There is a grief in telling too soon. It is not loud, it is not dramatic, but it is real. It's the way your focus frays after the applause, the way your hands feel heavy when it is time to actually build, the way the room suddenly seems crowded with opinions you never asked to carry. The heart that only wanted companionship now has company, and company is not always care. There is a reason for this, and it is not because you are weak. The brain is wired to reward the feeling of progress. When you speak a goal out loud and receive recognition, the neurochemistry of reward lights up and the body sighs in premature relief. A signal meant for harvest slips into the season of planting and the soil loses its pressure. Announcing a future can trick the mind into believing that part of the work is already done. The dopamine swells, the system relaxes, and what should have been fuel becomes a leak. This is not a moral failure, it is a mechanical one. It is the difference between heat and flame, between sparks on paper and a fire that can endure a night wind. Ancient wisdom understands this tempo. Solomon speaks of seasons, planting and plucking up, keeping and letting go, and invites us to honor the right action at the right time. The seed belongs to the dark first. Roots are not photogenic. Foundations are not glamorous. The sacred work of beginnings is meant to be sheltered, not showcased. To guard a plan is not to starve it of air. It is to keep the lamp cupped while the oil catches. To withhold is not to hide in fear. It is to face the truth that beginnings wear thin skin, and thin skin tears easily. Silence becomes a blanket, not a prison. There is also the cost of noise, and every public word accrues it. Attention is not neutral. Attention asks for explanation, asks for speed, asks for more. Praise asks for the encore before the song is written. Criticism asks for a defense before the foundation is poured. Even curiosity, gentle as it seems, can pull at roots that have not yet gripped the earth. The mind begins to split, one part building, one part performing. We were not made to carry two first priorities at once. Split attention looks like momentum, but it is delay dressed in motion. You do not need to prove that you are working to people who are not helping you work. There is a deeper proof, one that cannot be rushed. Solomon offers another angle of mercy here. Let outcomes speak in your place. Let the finished wall stand before you, invite inspection. Measure it with a plumb line in the quiet. Steady your hands, and then, when it can bear its own weight, open the door and let others see. The heart rests when the work itself can stand in the room and answer questions you no longer need to answer. It is a gentler way to be strong. Some of us share because we are lonely. Some of us share because we were silenced before and now resist any quiet, as if silence itself were a threat. Some of us share because we are afraid of failing alone and imagine that public accountability will save us from our own hesitation. I honor that ache. I honor the need to be seen. I honor the bravery it takes to say, I want to build. But there is a difference between counsel and crowd, between a companion and an audience, between wise eyes and hungry eyes. Not everyone who looks at your seed loves your harvest. Not everyone who claps cares for your roots. It is tenderness to your own life to choose who enters the garden at night. This is not a call to isolation. It is a call to sacred boundaries. Wise counsel is weight-bearing. It does not leak. The right person steadies your hands without stealing your will. The right voice asks the question that sharpens your design rather than blunting your courage. The right presence preserves your momentum by protecting your attention. In that circle, your words are not content. They are stewardship. And where stewardship lives, results follow quietly, like dawn moving across a field before anyone hears the birds. Perhaps you feel the urge to post right now, to make the announcement, to grab the relief that recognition promises. Pause, place the device face down, breathe once through the nose, and feel the air widen your chest. Breathe again, and notice the shoulders soften. Breathe a third time and feel the thoughts settle like a stone into clear water. Ask your heart without accusation, only with curiosity. What is the smallest next action I can take that does not need to be seen to be real? Let the body answer before the mind performs. Let the hand reach for the tool instead of the spotlight. Let the room stay quiet long enough for courage to become direction. You are not behind because you have not announced. You are not invisible because you are beginning in the dark. You are choosing a wiser light. The work you crave wants weight, not noise, wants roots, not reactions, wants your whole attention more than it wants your public promise. If you have been burned by early praise or chilled by early criticism, let this be a soft re-entry, not a scolding. Begin again, this time with the door partly closed, this time with your heart guarded, this time with your words serving your work instead of replacing it. And when the time is right, and you will know it not by anxiety but by steadiness, your results will speak in a voice no announcement could match. For now, hold the seed, hold the plan by its quiet edges, hold your breath for one more count, and feel how the body, when given permission to slow, gathers strength. Today the miracle is not the post. Today the miracle is the decision to build without witnesses, to honor the season you are truly in, and to let wisdom, not hunger, set the pace. Guard early plans like a garden at night. There is a holiness in beginnings that asks for darkness, a soft velvet dark that keeps the air still and the soil warm. You feel it in your body when a new plan arrives. The breath changes, the skin wakes up, the chest lifts in a quiet yes. In that moment, the plan is a seed, alive but tender, strong in potential yet thin in skin. The urge to show it is natural, like wanting to lift the soil and prove to yourself that something is growing. Yet a lifted soil exposes the root to air it cannot yet endure. The seed needs night more than it needs witnesses. So many of us know the ache that follows a bright announcement. You share the dream, and at first it feels like flight. Recognition brushes your nerves and you glow with relief. Then the next day comes, and the glow is gone, and the work feels heavier than it did before. You are not broken. Your body is signaling a simple law. The brain rewards the feeling of progress even when no progress has been made. Praise becomes a borrowed harvest. The chemistry pays you early, and the will deflates. There is no shame in this. It is as mechanical as rain sliding from a roof. When a goal is spoken too soon, the system confuses applause for effort, and the quiet fire that would have fed your labor burns out in the room where you were celebrated. Ancient wisdom offers a rhythm that rescues that fire. There is a time to plant, and that time honors secrecy. Roots take hold where they are unseen. The beginning does not advertise itself. The best walls start below the floor with stones no guest will ever compliment. The best fruit begins with cells dividing in the dark without any audience to admire it. When Solomon speaks of seasons, he is not being poetic for beauty alone. He is describing survival. He is teaching a way to protect the fragile stage of growth when hope is most vulnerable and the heart is easily shaped by the nearest voice. Hiddenness is not punishment. Hiddenness is heat and pressure in the right dose. Think of a lamp cupped by a steady hand as the wind rises. The hand is not covering the flame to deny its light. The hand is covering the flame so that when it is time, the light is strong enough to stand in the open without trembling. Your plan deserves that kind of shelter. To hold it close is an act of care, not an act of fear. It is how a craftsman treats a first firing. It is how a gardener treats a first frost. It is how a mother holds a newborn against her chest, not to hide the child, but to keep the heartbeat steady until the world is safe. There is another cost folded into early exposure, and it is the cost of attention. Attention looks benign, but it comes with requests. Attention asks for updates before the foundation is set. It asks for speed before the process has learned to breathe. It asks for performance when the work still needs practice. Even kind curiosity can tug at the tender roots. You feel it when someone asks how it is going, and you edit your answer to sound a little brighter than the truth. That small performance bends the plan toward the crowd and away from the quiet measurements that make the structure sound. You begin to build for eyes instead of for endurance, and the heart grows tired without understanding why. Let the body tell you the truth. Notice what happens in your chest when you imagine keeping the plan in the dark a little longer. Notice the mix of fear and relief. Fear because the old habit wants to be seen. Relief because another part of you knows this is safer. The relief is the wiser voice. It knows that a plan guarded from noise gathers weight, and weight is what the first steps need. Weight in the wrist that lifts the tool, weight in the spine that holds the posture of steady work, weight in the mind that returns to the same problem again and again, without the static of managing other people's expectations. There will be those who say that public declaration creates accountability. Sometimes that is true. Often it becomes a leash that drags the work along a street that was not made for it. There is a richer form of accountability that lives in outcome. When the time is right, the result itself will answer the questions. The finished thing will stand in the room and take the attention you once felt forced to manage. Until then, accountability can live in the quiet company of a few wise eyes. Choose the eyes that love your integrity more than your image. Choose the voice that asks, what is essential, rather than when can you post. Protect that simple difference, and you protect your future. There is mercy in silence. Mercy for your nervous system, which cannot live in constant performance. Mercy for your curiosity, which needs to explore without commentary. Mercy for your courage, which strengthens best when it is not being watched. The night of a plan is not an absence of light. It is the exact light needed. It is the light of a single candle set close, warming the oil, feeding the wick, preparing a steady flame for the day. In that night, the plan stops being a fantasy and starts becoming a body. It grows veins. It grows weight. It becomes something you can hold without breaking it. Imagine a garden after sunset. You walk the path slowly. The air is cooler, and you can hear the soil settling. You cannot see the roots pushing deeper, but you know they are moving. You cannot see the sugars flowing back through the stems, but you know the plant is feeding itself for morning. You do not stand over the seeds and demand a report. You trust the laws that govern living things. You trust the work you have already done. You trust that your patience is not passivity. You trust that dawn comes. This is the heart of the seed rule. Guard early plans like a garden at night. Honor the dark that nourishes what you love. Refuse the transaction that sells tomorrow's strength for today's approval. Let your hands keep their warmth. Let your attention stay whole. Let your courage learn to breathe without an audience. And when the time is right, when the roots have gripped the earth and the first leaf is strong enough to bear the wind, the morning will not need an announcement. It will arrive quietly, and everything living will recognize it. One question remains, simple and clear as a path at dusk. What plan needs darkness before daylight? Some doors look open because the hinges are well oiled. Some doors look open because there is no door at all. Plans suffer when there is no door. You feel it when a tender idea suddenly stands naked in a crowded room. Every face becomes a mirror, and you begin to edit yourself for each mirror. The heartbeat that felt steady now skips. The breath that felt generous now shortens. What began as a quiet garden feels like a marketplace. Oversharing does this. It turns a sanctuary into a stage. Not every listener carries the same weight. Some people love you, but do not know how to guard you. Some people are clever, but do not love the truth you are trying to live. Some people are kind until envy stirs, and then their kindness becomes a question mark. A plan is a window into your future self, and not every gaze honors that self. When too many eyes enter early, the work bends toward pleasing rather than toward becoming. The soul senses the shift. It tightens. It raises its shoulders. It starts rehearsing answers to questions no wise mentor would ask. More opinions does not equal more wisdom. The mind becomes noisy when it tries to carry a chorus before the melody is written. There is a tenderness inside you that wants to include everyone who has ever given you comfort. There is also a wisdom inside you that understands that counsel is a craft. Curate counsel. Do not crowdsource it. That sentence may feel sharp at first. Sit with it. Counsel is a delicate instrument. Too many hands on the instrument and the music collapses. Ancient teaching speaks of safety in wise counsel. Not counsel at any price. Not counsel from the loudest voice. Not counsel from the nearest chair. Wise counsel. The kind that listens more than it lectures. The kind that protects your pace more than it protects its own opinion. When that sort of counsel is present, the nervous system relaxes, the shoulders drop, the breath lengthens. The body recognizes the sound of care. Imagine a city at dusk. Lamps begin to glow along the walls. The gates are not frantic. The gates are watchful. They open for those who belong and for those who carry peace. They do not swing wide for the curious crowd that only wants to look. A gate is not a rejection of the world. A gate is a form of love for what lives inside. Your plan has a city. Your heart keeps its walls. And wisdom teaches you to stand at the gate without apology. 7 is a symbol of completeness in many old stories. Whether your number is smaller or larger, the image helps. A small circle for early access. A handful of people who hold a certain quality in common. Character that does not bend when pressure arranges the facts. Competence that understands the work at a level that can steady it. Confidentiality that treats your trust as sacred. Character, competence, confidentiality. The 3 qualities shape a doorframe that does not warp when the season changes. There is science beneath this softness. Social approval lights the same reward pathways that a finished task lights. Social threat touches the same alarm systems that a physical danger touches. Too many eyes too early create a push and pull in the brain. One network strains to imagine other minds. Another network strains to plan and execute. They tug at each other like 2 children pulling on one sleeve. Working memory thins. Focus splits. Fatigue arrives looking like failure when it is only overload. There is soul beneath this science. The heart knows when a friend delights in your integrity more than your image. The heart knows when a voice speaks truth, even when truth costs them applause. The heart knows when a confidant holds their tongue, not out of fear, but out of respect for the gravity of a beginning. In the presence of such people, your plan breathes. In the presence of such people, your doubts become information instead of accusations. In the presence of such people, time slows enough for wisdom to be heard. Some will ask for details because they love you. Some will ask for details because details feed their boredom. Some will ask for details to measure themselves against you. The questions may sound the same. The energy is not the same. Your body can tell the difference if you listen beneath the words. When you leave an exchange and feel clear, that is data. When you leave and feel strangely small, that is also data. The soul keeps a ledger more honest than the mind sometimes dares to write. You may remember a season when everyone had a suggestion and none of the suggestions agreed. You held each piece like a fragile dish and found yourself with a table full of plates and no meal. That is what a crowd does to a tender plan. It provides options, but not orientation. It provides stimulation, but not stewardship. Wisdom narrows the room for a while, not as punishment, as protection. The narrowness keeps the flame from flattening in a draught. There is a gentler picture, a workshop at evening, tools hanging where a hand can find them in the dark, 2 or 3 trusted voices nearby. They do not reach for the tools unless you ask. They notice the grain of the wood with you. They keep the temperature of the room steady. In that company you remember who you are. In that company you stop explaining and begin shaping. In that company, the work stops being an idea and becomes a form. If you have been told that your reluctance to share is a sign of insecurity, breathe. There is a form of sharing that is healing. There is also a form of sharing that is leakage. The difference is not in your goodness. The difference is in timing, in purpose, in alignment with the season your plan inhabits. The circle of 7 is not a rule that cages you. It is an image that steadies you. It reminds you that not every voice is a voice for this hour. It reminds you that love can be loud and still be wrong for your process. It reminds you that respect for your attention is a form of love. You are allowed to value the privacy of your purpose. You are allowed to guard the edges of your time. You are allowed to prefer a quiet room where a single sentence from a wise friend can take the place of 50 comments from strangers. These permissions are not selfish, they are merciful. They are merciful to the part of you that is building a future. They are merciful to the part of you that would like to arrive at the day of unveiling with joy still in your hands. Return to the picture of the gate. Not every knock asks for entry with evil in mind. Some knocks are simply not for tonight. Some knocks are for a later season when the walls are higher and the streets are mapped. The task is not to judge the heart behind every knock. The task is to honor the season within your own walls. When the watch understands the season, the city sleeps well. One question rests at the doorway of this chapter. Who has earned a key to your gate? And why? Attention feels weightless at first. It glows warm on the skin like late sunlight through a window, gentle and flattering. Then the cost arrives, quiet and cumulative, a toll you did not see on the road. Every public word gathers tiny threads that tug at the work. Explain more, hurry more, prove more. The plan begins to live under observation rather than under stewardship, and the mind starts living in 2 rooms at once. In one room, there is the craft, the tools, the patient line of thought. In the other, there is the audience, real or imagined, asking for a version of the story that is brighter, faster, more certain. The body feels the split. Shoulders rise. Sleep thins. Focus frays even on simple tasks that once felt effortless. Neuroscience gives language to this strain. The system that plans and the system that monitors other minds are both powerful, and when both are lit at once, they compete for the same fuel. Social evaluation pulls the alarm, and the nervous system prepares for a storm that may never arrive. Cortisol edges up. The heart chooses speed over depth. The brain, built for survival, begins to budget energy to protect the self rather than to refine the work. Praise can be as destabilizing as criticism here. Praise asks for repetition before mastery exists. Criticism asks for defense before clarity is mature. Even the soft curiosity of good people adds pressure when it piles up too early, because curiosity bends attention toward performance. There is also a slower chemistry at play. Early applause mimics completion, and the body receives a counterfeit reward. The relief feels like rest, but it is more like a drain left open. When you return to the table, the muscles of intention have softened. Meanwhile, a single sharp comment can stain a whole afternoon because the brain protects you by remembering threat more loudly than it remembers peace. Neither response makes you weak. Both responses prove that you are human, wired for connection and wired for caution. The work suffers when those wires cross at the wrong hour. Consider how many beginnings stumble not from lack of talent, but from the atmosphere around them. A designer posts a sketch, and the sketch performs better than expected. A glow rises in the chest. People are watching. Now every iteration feels like a performance, and the next steps grow timid, shaped by the memory of approval rather than by the demands of the craft. Somewhere else, a founder shows a mock-up, and a competitor notices. Questions surface about ownership and timing. The process, once a living exploration, becomes a public negotiation. The pace changes. The soul grows careful in a way that is not the same as wise. Ancient wisdom has always counted this hidden cost. A prudent builder measures the material, the labor, the weather. Wisdom adds another line to the ledger: the price of attention, the energy lost to explaining, the time consumed by managing perception, the subtle distortion that enters when the fear of disappointment whispers over your shoulder while you lay the next stone. Counting this cost is not cynicism. It is care. It is a way of protecting the clarity that allows your yes to remain a yes through the middle of the journey. There is an image that steadies the heart, a candle under wind. The flame is true, the wick is sound, the oil is clean. Yet a gust can flatten the light before the room has even warmed. The hand that cups the flame is not ashamed of its smallness. It is aware of its value. It knows that a steady light is born in protection and only later learns to live in open air. Let that image sink into the body. You are not withholding your light from the world. You are making sure your light can outlast the weather that attention brings. Some words serve as scaffolding for a wiser rhythm. Disclosure thresholds, update cadence. They sound simple, and they are. Yet their simplicity is shelter. A threshold is a line that honors readiness. Below the line, the work belongs to the quiet. Above the line, the work can speak for itself. A cadence is a pace tied to reality rather than to hunger. It follows the steps of the craft rather than the speed of a feed. When thresholds and cadence are honored, attention returns to being a tool, not a master. The eyes that matter are the eyes that can help you see better. The rest can wait without resentment. The nervous system recognizes this correction. Anxiety loosens its grip when it learns that a plan is not on trial. The breath deepens when it understands that uncertainty is a natural part of making. The mind steadies when it doesn't have to build and report at the same time. This calm is not laziness. It is the exact tone that allows effort to compound. Progress prefers a quiet room. Integrity prefers a slow yes. Craft prefers a season without spectacle. These preferences are not moral postures. They are conditions under which the human brain does its best work. There is kindness in protecting the inner conversation that shapes a beginning. That conversation is where reasons refine and motives find their right size. It is where you can admit confusion without editing your face. It is where you can experiment without the heat of someone else's timeline. It is where the joy of small wins returns, not because anyone saw them, but because they are true. Joy grounded in truth can carry a longer weight than joy grounded in performance. This is a relief that does not rot. It is a relief that strengthens the backbone. Picture a studio late in the evening. The street outside hums with a life that asks for little right now. Inside the room, a single task receives full attention. No commentary, no comparison. No need to translate the work into an update. The tool in your hand feels heavier in the best way, solid and real. The next choice is no longer theatrical. It is honest. This is where momentum returns. Not the fast forward of public excitement, but the slow, strong current that continues the next morning because it belongs to you. Some will misunderstand this restraint, and that is all right. Not every perceived demand deserves a response. Silence is not a secret. Silence is a choice that guards energy, so it can become form. The day will come when the work is ready to stand without you explaining it into being. That day will not need the drama of an announcement. It will have the ease of recognition. What is real tends to introduce itself. There is a final image before we turn the page. A road with tolls you can barely see. Each booth takes a little coin, a little time, a little attention. By the end of the road, you are lighter in the wrong places. The noise tax is like that. It is paid without noticing until you notice that you are tired. The remedy is not withdrawal from love or from community. The remedy is a wiser economy of words and a calmer relationship with visibility. In that economy, your focus is funded. Your endurance is banked. Your courage can afford the long work. One question touches the center like a fingertip to water, simple and clear. What noise is taxing your focus right now? There is a quiet dignity in results that words cannot imitate. Promises have a bright sound, and intentions have a sweet scent, but neither can carry weight the way a finished piece of work can. The body knows the difference. When you speak about a future, the chest lifts with hope, and the mind races ahead to the applause. When you finish something real, the breath deepens and a steadier warmth settles in the spine. The difference is not only emotional, it is structural. A spoken dream leans on your voice. A proven step stands on its own feet. The old wisdom invites a certain humility. Let another praise you. Let outcomes speak in your place. This is not a call to silence for its own sake. It is a recognition that truth does not need a microphone to be heard. The wall that is plumb needs no defense. The harvest that fills the baskets needs no argument. When the work is sound, it becomes its own witness. When the heart is grounded, it stops chasing echoes and begins listening for what is solid. There is kindness in the order that puts proof before proclamation. Think of the smallest path that can bear a person's weight without cracking. Think of the first cup from a new recipe that tastes like what you imagined rather than what you feared. Think of the melody that still holds when the instruments stop and you hum it in a quiet room. These proofs are not grand, but they are faithful. They are evidence that the direction is right. They restore a kind of trust between your hands and your mind. Neuroscience agrees in its own language. Completion calms the nervous system in ways that talk cannot. The brain registers closure and reduces the uncertainty that keeps alarms half lit. The body stops bracing for judgment and begins to invest energy in refinement. The loop of prediction and feedback closes, and the next action becomes clearer because it rests on what actually happened rather than on what was announced. This shift is small, and it is everything. The mind moves from theater to craft. Effort compounds because attention is not split between building and managing perception. There is a simple ladder hidden inside many enduring stories. A sketch that works in private becomes a small version that works in the hands of a few. That small version grows into a piece that works in the world without you standing beside it to explain. Only then does the announcement matter, and often it matters less than you imagined. Prototype becomes pilot. Pilot becomes proof. Proof becomes public. The steps are ordinary, and that is why they work. Each step lets the work answer a different question without asking your nervous system to carry a crowd. The plumb line is a tender image for this hour. A string and weight revealing whether a wall is true. No applause in the measuring, no panic either, only gravity telling the truth. When the line is quiet, the builder can be quiet. When the line reveals what is off, correction happens before the eyes arrive. This is mercy. It is kinder to adjust in the hush than to defend in the heat. It is kinder to discover a lean early than to paint a crooked wall and ask others to believe it is straight. Words spoken too soon often create a debt. They borrow certainty from the future and spend it in the present. The body then carries the pressure to make the story true on a timeline set by the announcement rather than by reality. That strain is familiar. The sleep that becomes shallow, the joy that becomes brittle, the small shortcuts that tempt a tired heart. None of this makes you less worthy. It makes you human in a culture that rewards revelation more quickly than it rewards patience. There is another way, and it feels like slow water smoothing a stone. Quiet progress leans on cause and effect. Insight leads to a test. The test gives a signal. The signal guides the next move. When the signal is strong enough, others can see what you already know. You do not stand on a stage to convince. You stand beside a thing that is alive and let it reveal itself. This posture is not timid. It is strong in a way that is restful. You are not selling a promise. You are sharing something that functions. Ancient counsel and modern mind meet here. The sage points to seasons and invites restraint until the fruit is ready. The scientist points to feedback loops and invites iteration until the curve of learning bends upward. Both point away from the hunger to be seen and toward the joy of seeing clearly. Both protect the soul from the fog that forms when expectation outpaces experience. In that protection, Courage grows without drama. In that clarity, focus returns without force. Picture a craftsman sweeping the floor at dusk, while a small, finished piece rests on the bench. No fanfare, no confession, only the quiet relief of something that exists. In that quiet, confidence returns because it is anchored in truth. Tomorrow is lighter because today ended in proof. The hands remember the sequence. The mind remembers the sound of tools working. The heart remembers that pride can be gentle when it is married to authenticity. Some will always prefer the pledge over the product, and that is their rhythm. Your rhythm can be different. Your rhythm can choose result over rehearsal, integrity over image, a voice that rises from evidence rather than from desire. It is not less inspiring. It is more trustworthy. It asks less from others and gives more to them. It asks less from your nervous system and gives more to your craft. Over time, this rhythm builds a reputation that does not need your protection, because it is built on things that stand. There is a sweetness at the end of this thread. When the work speaks for you, the room grows kinder. Criticism arrives, but it lands on something sturdy. Praise arrives, but it does not lure you away from the bench. You become free to love the process again, not because the world is watching, but because the process itself is a companion. The need to announce quiets. The desire to continue deepens. The day feels honest again. One question rests like a steady light at the edge of the path. Which result can you let speak for you next? There is a quiet room inside every life where motives take their shape. Some call it conscience, some call it spirit, some call it the heart. I imagine it as a vaulted chamber, cool and steady, where the air is honest and the light is simple. In that room, praise sounds different. In that room, fear loses its echo. In that room, the self listens for truth without the instruments of performance. The work that begins in such a space carries a weight that does not shout. It moves with a calm that is not for sale. Many share early because the body aches for warmth. The ache is not a flaw. It is a sign that you were made for connection. Validation touches that ache, and for a moment the nervous system loosens, the shoulders fall, the breath sighs with relief. Neuroscience gives names to these currents, but the experience is older than every word. The brain loves social signals and often confuses those signals with safety. The heart loves belonging and often confuses belonging with guidance. When applause arrives too soon, it settles on the surface like frost. It looks bright and it makes the leaves glitter, yet it steals the heat that roots require. There is a gentler heat that grows in hiddenness, not secrecy born of shame, shelter born of care. A plan kept close begins to purify the why that pushes it. At first, the why wants to be admired. Then, if it is held with tenderness, the why wants to be true. This shift is a form of healing. The desire to be seen becomes the desire to serve. The need to be rescued by recognition becomes the strength to continue without an audience. The spirit recognizes this change. The body recognizes it as well. Sleep deepens. Focus thickens. Joy loses its sugar and gains its grain. Ancient counsel speaks softly here. Guard your heart, for out of it flow the issues of life. The sentence is not a threat. It is an invitation to protect the well from which you drink. The vault is not a prison. The vault is a promise that what is precious will not be handled by careless hands. Within that promise, motives are refined the way ore is refined in steady fire. Impurities lift. What is solid remains. You begin to know the difference between building for love and building for applause. The first endures weather. The second performs until the weather changes. Consider how a motive tugs the hand. When the hidden aim is to be praised, shortcuts look like wisdom and speed looks like courage. When the hidden aim is to be faithful, patience looks like strength and small steps feel honest. The same task can be done by two people, and the atmosphere within them can be a different climate. One is hot and hurried. One is warm and enduring. The body tells the truth even before the mind can name it. In the hurried climate, the breath is shallow and comparisons crowd the edges of thought. In the enduring climate, the breath is fuller, and the next right move becomes visible without drama. There's a simple practice that lives inside language: quiet and kind. Ask the work to tell you who it is for. Ask it without spectacle, the way a gardener tests the soil, the way a craftsman runs a hand along grain. If the answer points toward being admired, let that answer rest without judgment and look again. If the answer points toward serving a need, feel how the spine straightens. The nervous system is not confused when the purpose is love. It has less to defend and more to give. This is not sentiment. It is physiology aligned with meaning. Some carry wounds where silence was used as a weapon. For those hearts, quiet can feel like exile. The vaulted room can feel like a cell. Here, compassion matters. The vault is not a return to that old pain. The vault is a new promise, owned by you, timed by you, filled with people who have proven that your trust is safe with them. When quiet is chosen freely, quiet becomes a friend. It becomes a rhythm that lets courage return without the pressure to perform. In that freedom, the voice you use with yourself softens. It stops accusing and begins guiding. It stops pushing and begins inviting. Motives also grow cleaner when they are tested by small private proofs. A line of code that works, a paragraph that stands, a pattern that fits. These are not trophies. They are mirrors that do not lie. They tell you whether your love of the craft is real or borrowed. They steady the mind with evidence, rather than with hopes shaped by other people's eyes. Emotional resilience is built this way, not in public contests where the soul is stretched thin, but in rooms where truth can be heard at a human volume. There is a tenderness in remembering that your identity is not your performance. When the self clings to performance for worth, every delay feels like a verdict, and every mistake feels like a sentence. When worth is settled in a deeper place, work becomes a gift you give rather than a mask you hold. The nervous system relaxes its grip on the future and returns to the present where skill is formed. The spirit rests in the knowledge that guidance does not arrive louder because the crowd is loud. Guidance often arrives softer, inside breaths that no one else can hear. Picture the vaulted heart as a chapel at dawn. Light enters in a line, not a blaze. Dust glows and falls in slow patterns, quiet as prayer. In that light, the day makes sense. The old voices that used to rush you do not sound like leaders anymore. The new voice sounds like a friend. It does not flatter. It does not frighten. It reminds. It steadies. It names the next faithful action and leaves the timing of recognition to a wiser hand. A life built from that sound carries an integrity that does not drain you to maintain it. There is a sweetness in doing work that would still matter if no one ever knew your name. It clears the air. It lifts the fatigue that comes from managing impressions. It makes room for surprise again, the good kind, the kind that arrives when skill meets season. The vault holds you during the waiting. The heart grows strong enough to open without losing itself. The work grows clear enough to speak without you pushing its voice. One sentence closes this chapter like a door that settles on quiet hinges. If applause were impossible, what would you still build? Two builders begin on the same morning. One walks to the square with a trumpet. He draws a crowd and speaks of a tower the city has never seen. His words rise like sparks, and everyone warms their hands over them. The other walks to the edge of a field where the ground is thick with stone. He speaks to no one. He studies the soil and kneels. Days pass. In the square there are sketches and applause and promises that sound like thunder. At the field there are calloused palms and a small trench that grows longer with each quiet hour. Weeks pass. The crowd shifts to other songs, and the trumpet sleeps beside an empty foundation. At the edge of the field, stones meet stones, until the line holds true, and the earth gives back a steady echo. Months pass. The city notices that a wall has appeared where there was once only grass, not a spectacle, a presence. The wind leans, and the wall does not answer with drama. It answers with endurance. When the first storm comes, the trumpet wakes and asks for calm it cannot command. The field does not speak. The field simply stands. The heart recognizes itself in both builders. Part of you longs to be heard before the work has found its shape. Another part of you longs to lay your hands on something honest without the complication of eyes. This series has touched those places and given them names. a seed kept in the dark until roots can hold, a circle small enough to protect the tone of your courage, a noise tax that drains the quiet needed for craft, a rhythm that waits for proof before it lifts its voice, a vaulted heart that chooses sincerity over exhibition. Each thread is simple. Woven together, they make a cloak for beginnings, warm and sturdy, not heavy with performance. Notice how your body responds to the thought of living this way. There is a softening at the base of the skull. There is a space behind the ribs where breath returns when permission is granted. This is not laziness. It is alignment. The nervous system is built to thrive under conditions where attention is allowed to be whole. The spirit is built to thrive under conditions where motives are clean. The two are not enemies. They are companions. When they walk together, effort compounds without burning the edges of your life. Think of the days ahead not as a campaign, but as a season. Seasons do not argue. They keep time. There is a season for planting where plans are not photogenic. There is a season for tending where counsel is narrow and precious. There is a season for shelter where words are chosen for their ability to protect, not to impress. There is a season for measuring where small proofs teach you the next step. There is a season for unveiling where the work speaks with a tone you did not have to manufacture. Each season honors the others, and none of them needs a trumpet to be true. There is tenderness for every time you shared too soon and felt the light go out. There is tenderness for every time you kept quiet and felt accused of hiding. There is tenderness for the days when attention felt like oxygen and for the nights when silence felt like exile. You are not behind. You are learning a wiser breath. You are not invisible. You are growing roots. What is meant to be seen will be seen in its hour, and the seeing will not cost you the strength you need to continue. Imagine the unveiling when it arrives, not an explosion. A door that opens the way dawn opens, steady and inevitable. People will ask when you decided to begin, and you will smile because you remember a quieter date. The day you stopped narrating and began building. The day you chose counsel that guarded more than it gossiped. The day you noticed the toll booth on the road called attention and chose another route. The day you let one result stand and say what you no longer needed to say. The day your heart grew warm without the theater of a stage. Integrity has a sound. It does not shout. It carries like a low bell, clear and patient, heard even when the room is crowded. Work born of that sound travels farther because it asks less from you to defend it. It grows a reputation that does not need constant tending. It draws the right eyes at the right time. It becomes the kind of gift that people can receive without being asked. When that day comes, your gratitude will not be for applause. Your gratitude will be for the path that kept your soul intact while your craft matured. If solitude still feels sharp, the memory of old silences might be near. Let kindness meet that memory. The quiet you keep now is not the quiet that hurt you. It is a shelter you designed. It is a boundary you chose. It is filled with the few who hold you to your best self without tearing the new fabric of your courage. This distinction matters. It returns dignity to the parts of you that learned to survive. It offers a gentler way to be strong. Before the final question, picture one more scene. A table with tools that fit your hands, the window open to evening air, a small finished piece resting to one side, and something half-born in front of you. No audience, no defense, only the sweetness of concentration and the relief of honest effort. In that room, the day feels meaningful without explanation. In that room, tomorrow feels possible without spectacle. In that room, your life speaks in a voice you trust. When you stop announcing and start building, what becomes possible this month